the man that made the trade, made the phone call to tell Jared McCann that he was moving on from the Vancouver Canucks, is Jim Benning, who joins us on Hockey Central. This is a trade of two young players that you don't see as much anymore. What made it a no-brainer for you, Jim?
Well, it was a tough trade to make because I really like Jared as a player, and I really believe he's going to turn out to be a top six forward in the NHL and a productive player. The center ice position is a position that we have some depth at. So when Florida called and they talked to us, and Jared was the guy that, from their end that they felt needed to be in the deal. We hemmed and hawed about it, but we just felt like, with the depth we have up the middle, to add a top four defenseman that's young, that's something that we needed to do.
Jim, how quickly did this thing happen? I'm led to believe that it wasn't, you didn't talk for 2 or 3 weeks. It might have been 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, that's correct. It was, I would say it was a couple days. It came together fast. They called us. They asked us about Jared. We started talking to them, and they brought up Erik's name in the deal, and so then we just tried to figure it out from there.
This is just you picking on the new GM, isn't it?
No, I don't think so. They called us first, and I think we gave up a lot too in the deal. Our thinking behind the deal is we play in a division where there's some big heavy teams in Anaheim, LA, and San Jose. And one of the things that with our group on the back end this year, I didn't feel we were big and strong enough. And when teams would start cycling against us, we had a tough time, knocking the other forwards off the puck, getting the puck to get going the other way. So. And then the other teams in our division, Calgary, Edmonton, and Arizona, all have some good young, fast players. Mm-hmm. So with Erik in our lineup, he'll be against the big, heavy teams. He'll be able to compete down low to stop the cycle. And with these teams that have these fast players, they're going to, that skate through the neutral zone 100 miles an hour. They're going to have to keep their heads up now going through the neutral zone with him out on the ice.
Does this spell the end for Dan Hamhuis in Vancouver?
No, not necessarily. We're still talking to Dan. We still have some decisions to make. I'm heading into the scouting combine here this next week, and I get back after that, and we got our amateur and pro meetings. And we'd still like to have Dan on board, so we're going to try to figure that out going forward.
You were quoted the other day, Jim, as saying that you have to walk a fine line between being competitive and building for the future. How do you characterize where you are with your group right now?
Well, as you guys know, I come from a scouting background, so to trade second-round picks away, it kills me. But, where we're at right now, I think we owe it to our fans to try to field the most competitive team that we can right now. We picked 5th overall in the draft. We're going to get I believe, a first-line player or a top 4 defenseman with that pick. We got Brock Besser coming. That's a blue-chip prospect that's going to be a top 6 forward in the league. We got Thatcher Demko coming. That's, I believe, is going to be a number 1 goalie. Once we get the pieces in place from a team building perspective, we're going to hold on to those draft picks. But, when we talked about, that second pick, giving up that second pick, we had 2 forwards and 2 defensemen that we were kind of keying in on who we would take with that pick. And, and then you start talking about it, and there are 2 more years of junior, 2 years in the American League. Maybe their 5th year, they can come up and play some games, but they don't help your team win till 6-7 years down the line. So, to get a 24-year-old, we feel a top 4 defenseman who's going to be a good fit playing with Ben Hutton, we just made that decision that that's something that we needed to do.
Jim Benning is with us, the general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, swinging a deal this week with the Florida Panthers. Jared McCann basically sent away, and you get a great young defenseman in Erik Gudbranson. This is a an area though where you're drafting 5th overall. Can you replace McCann with that pick?
I feel we can. I feel, there's the top 3 players in the draft, and then the next 2 forwards, and we have a defenseman rated up in that group. But I believe the next 2 forwards are first-line players, and the defenseman's going to be, if he's not a top pairing guy, he's for sure going to be a second pairing guy. So, but picking at 5, I believe we're going to get a first-line forward there.
I guess what we're talking about is either Matthew Tkachuk or Dubois out of the Quebec League, and your defenseman would be either Jacob Chychrun or Sergachev out of Windsor. So there are some guys that could actually get into your lineup next year in theory, but I would think that Sergachev's the one guy that could probably play in the NHL next year, Jim.
Yeah, well, I think more what we're thinking, like, the top 3 picks, I believe, can step right in next year and play and be productive, NHL players next year. I think, with the where we pick at 5, that player might need, one more year of development at junior. We don't want to rush him. We feel like he's, has a chance to be, like I said, a first-line player or top 4 defenseman. So, we'll see how it goes. He'll come to training camp and we'll see where he's at. But, unless he blows our socks off, we're prepared to, have him play one more year junior.
We will see you in Buffalo at the NHL Combine. Congratulations on the deal. Great acquisition. Did you have to really pull the trigger on this fast before Edmonton got involved?
Well, that's, it kind of like we were the first team that they talked to, and we, wanted to get it done before other teams started getting involved in the bidding war. So, that's why it kind of came together fast. And from our end, we wanted to try to get it done fast too.
Nice. Thanks for spicing up the Stanley Cup playoffs with a little league news. Appreciate it, Jim, and we'll see you in Buffalo.
Thanks for having me, guys.